Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am bringing you my thoughts on two standalone novels. The first one being The Lying Game by Ruth Ware, the second one being Devil Sharks by Jameson. I don't read many standalone novels, and as I've gotten away from doing monthly wrap-ups, I've been holding on to my thoughts about The Lying Game for a while. I read it as part of the group read Elizabeth over at Lizzie Phalos Books is holding during March Mystery Madness. And so when I finished the book, I did record my thoughts. So I've been holding on to these clips so that I could put it together with another review. But I don't read very many standalone novels, and I don't enjoy putting out videos that are specific to a book, especially when my thoughts on that book are not great. Spoiler alert. So yeah, I will flip over to my thoughts on The Lying Game. You will notice a change of scenery because I did record this before we had gotten shut down due to the pandemic. And so you will see me in my old recording venue. And then when that clip is done, I'll come back and talk to you about Devil Sharks, which I just finished reading. So I read The Lying Game by Ruth Ware. I read this as part of a group read with Elizabeth over at Lizzie Phalos Books. I'll link her channel down in the description box below. We are doing a group read of this, or she is hosting a group read of this book for March Mystery Madness. And I decided to go ahead and check it out. I had read one book by Ruth Ware in the past, and that was The Death of Mrs. Westaway, and I didn't really enjoy that one, so I wanted to check out another one by this author. I do actually have In a Dark, Dark Wood in my collection, and I was going to check that one out next, but as Elizabeth was hosting this group read, I thought, why not? It would be a great opportunity to discuss some of my thoughts on this book with others, because I kind of needed that when I was reading The Death of Mrs. Westaway. But anyway, I decided to read this one, and I'll share my thoughts with you on this book right now. So this one follows a group of 4 girls who meet while they are going off to a boarding school. And 2 of them have kind of come up with this game called The Lying Game, where they rack up imaginary points based on lies they tell and how believable they are. And so these 2 girls are like kind of playing this game on the train on the way to the boarding school, and the 2 other girls who are in this group are going to the boarding school for the first time. So 2 of these girls have already been going to the school, and these other 2 girls are new, and they kind of join their group and get introduced to this game. And while they are attending this boarding school, they continue to play this game. So basically, they lie for fun, and based on how believable the lie is, how the lie is taken by the recipient, I guess, or the person that they are lying to, they get imaginary points, and nothing ever comes of these points. They're kind of broken apart during their years at the boarding school by something that happens that's kind of related to this Lying Game. And I think the back of the book, the summary part, really kind of gives away something, which I don't find it was helpful to me, trying to keep the suspense up in this book. An event happens that kind of brings these 4 ladies back together in their adulthood. It's kind of about their friendship, what the Lying Game has kind of done to them from the time that they were in boarding school to now when they're adults, and how it's kind of affected their relationship. Now, this book is classified as a mystery slash thriller slash suspense, I think, on Goodreads. And I didn't really find it to be any of those things. I do read a lot of mysteries, so maybe that was a hindrance for me in regards to this, but I did not find this book mysterious, nor did I find it suspenseful. I kind of was really experiencing this book just as it came to me, very passively. I never really wanted to know what was going on. I never had any interest in what was going on. I kind of had everything figured out pretty early on and was just waiting to see how it all played out. Which is disappointing because it's not what I was expecting from a suspense slash thriller book. I do have a pretty strong aversion to stories where the characters are lying. Obviously, going into this, I knew that was going to be a part of the storyline, and I don't think that played a part in my unenjoyment of this book as much as the fact that I had figured everything out pretty early. This book is told from the point of view of one of the girls. Her name is Issa. She is a new mom. Her baby is, I believe, 6 months old or younger. And so we see everything play out through Issa's point of view, through her eyes. And I do think that this was the right choice for the author. Of the 4 girls, Issa, I think, had the ability to give the most suspenseful feeling because of her circumstances. But I think in order for that to be successful, you had to feel for her. You had to connect with her in some way, and I didn't. And I think that was also why, in moments where there should have been a suspenseful feeling, I should have wanted to see how things played out in regards to what was going on, but I just really didn't care. I can tell you right off the bat that I didn't feel for any of them. Just, they weren't really portrayed very well. I don't know. I mean, it was interesting that the 4 of them, their friendship kind of was strong enough where if one of them calls and says, "I need you," they all come running. So that was nice to see. And not only in regards to what happens in this book, but you see it in something very personal, very emotional to one of the characters. And I'm not going to say because I don't want to spoil anything, but they really are there for each other. From Issa's perspective, you can see that she never really stops playing the lying game, even through to the end of this book. You know that she's going to continue lying in her life, and even after everything that happens in this book and what happened because of the lies, it's like she doesn't learn. And you know that she's going to continue lying, which I kind of feel like what was the point? What was the point that this book was trying to make? So on top of not realizing what point this book was trying to make, and the fact that I figured everything out and was just waiting to see how everything was going to play out. This was not an enjoyable reading experience for me. I would even say that the death of Mrs. Westaway, even though that also was not an enjoyable reading experience for me, actually was a little more entertaining than this one was. I did find that one to be a little bit more mysterious, and towards the end of that one, it was definitely more suspenseful. But this one didn't give that to me at all. And I don't know if I want to read In a Dark, Dark Wood, even though I have it. That's 2 out of 3 books already that I've read by this author that I just haven't really enjoyed. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe her writing's just not for me. But I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I'm going to have the opportunity to discuss this with others, because I know this is a well-loved author, and based on my experience, I feel like I'm missing something. I'd like to hear from others who enjoyed it to see what it was about the book that they enjoyed, if they felt like it was a suspenseful story, or if it had them on the edge of their seat. Because I've read some reviews of people who have said that it was keeping them on the edge of their seat, and for me, it didn't. I didn't have that feeling. I wanted to have that feeling so bad, but I just didn't. And I'm not sure why. So, yeah. That's about all I've got to say on that one. So I'd be interested to hear if you enjoyed The Lying Game and what it was that you enjoyed about it. Not only that, if you found it suspenseful, what parts of this book did you find suspenseful? What made you want to keep turning the page and progress through the story? If you could share your thoughts with me on this one, I'd greatly appreciate it. So now I'll tell you my thoughts on Devil Sharks by Chris Jameson. This story follows Alex and his wife Sammy. They are on a flight to Honolulu, Hawaii, on an all-expenses paid trip from Alex's college friend Harry. Alex was a little comprehensive about accepting this invitation from Harry because they had had a pretty bad falling out in college in the aftermath of the suicide of one of their other friends. But being that time has passed and maybe Harry has changed, maybe Harry wants to make amends, and the fact that it is a friend reunion, he'll be able to catch up with some of his other college friends, he decided to go ahead and take Harry up on his offer. So basically, this trip is an all-adults trip, no kids allowed. So the plan is to stay a night at Harry's residence and then head out on his luxury yacht to just relax and enjoy the sun and just be with each other. So upon arrival, Alex is feeling pretty good about this trip. Him and Harry are getting along rather well. Sammy, his wife, was not a part of his college friends group, but she knows all about them, as Alex has told her stories about them over the years. And so things seem to be going great. The first night goes well. They get on the private yacht and they head out to sea. While at sea, Harry tells them that he really wants to stop over at a place called Orchid Atoll, which is a place his father was stationed while he was in the Coast Guard. This place is now deserted and no longer used, but he'd like to go and visit this place to kind of pay respects to his dad because his dad has recently passed away. Everyone is amenable to the idea, and upon arrival at Orchid Atoll, they discover that besides the obvious shark-infested waters, the island may not be as deserted as they thought it would be. So this is not the first book that I've read by Chris Jameson. Last year I read Shark Island. On the inside of Devil Sharks it says that it's the next book in the series, but these two books do not have any characters or storylines or anything that are the same or match in any way, so I view them both as standalone books. The only thing that they have in common is that they are about shark infested waters. So I read Shark Island for Shark Week in 2019 and I really enjoyed the experience. I really enjoy watching Shark Week documentaries, but as we no longer have cable, I'm only able to watch what I can find on Netflix or Hulu or things of that nature. So I thought that maybe reading a Sharky book during Shark Week would kind of fill the void. And I really was entertained by this book. So since I knew that Chris Jameson had written other books, or at least 2 other books, I decided to go ahead and pick up the next one that he published, which was Devil Sharks. And I have to say that I was not as entertained by this one as I was by Shark Island. I won't say that I enjoyed it, because I don't think you can say you enjoyed reading about shark attacks. Both of these books include graphic, detailed descriptions of shark attacks, and so if that's not something that you are down with, definitely avoid these. This story in itself was also not as entertaining because it happens kind of in or around Hawaii, which if you followed me for a while, you know that's where I was born and raised, so I know quite a bit about people there and have experienced things there. And this this book kind of touches on things that I feel are viewed from a tourist's eye. I don't think that Chris Jameson has spent a lot of time in Hawaii before writing this book. The way that he describes a local character, local to Hawaii, was not very nice. There's a point in this book where one of the characters sees a tree and automatically knows it to be a koa tree, which is a type of tree that is native to the islands. And as someone who's not grown up on the island, or someone who doesn't work with trees or research trees, I don't understand how a tourist, someone who's visiting for possibly the first time, would know that that particular tree was a koa tree. So little things like that really bothered me. I don't think they would bother someone who didn't grow up there, because they wouldn't be thinking about these things. Those thoughts probably wouldn't cross their mind, but for me, I was just like, that how would you know that? That doesn't make sense. And like I said, the way he described the local person who happened to be a driver for Harry just wasn't nice in either case, in the way when Alex meets the driver for the first time, nor when Harry talks to him. They just weren't nice at all, and kind of just brush it off to, well, we're in Hawaii, so it's okay. I didn't enjoy those parts at all. I don't believe that Orchid Atoll is an actual place. I did try to look it up on Google before I filmed this video, and I couldn't find it. There are 2 atolls close to the Hawaiian Islands. Both of them are not deserted. One of them, which did house a U.S. Coast Guard station, is now a bird sanctuary, and the other one is a wildlife preservation area. So I believe he just made up this place that they visited. But I didn't read this book because it was set in Hawaii. I read it because it was a sharky thriller, and it did provide suspensefulness in that area. It definitely fit the bill as a Shark Week read. There is one more book out so far that Chris Jameson has written, which is called Shark Beach, and I will be reading that one for Shark Week 2021. This story does mention a Shark Week documentary that I had already seen, and I thought that was interesting. It does definitely tie into some of the things that happened in this book. I don't think I'd be able to watch a story like this on like TV or in a movie, but I do enjoy reading stories like this, and I think it's because my brain kind of edits out a lot of the gore for me. I can still see it in my head, but seeing it with my eyes is completely different. I don't know. So the shark attack scenes don't bother me as much. And both this book and Shark Island open up with a very graphic shark attack scene. I did find this entertaining, but I enjoyed Shark Island a lot more. If you know any other shark books that you think I would enjoy, definitely let me know down in the comments below. I have already read Jaws and the 6 books that are out in the Meg series. I'm not quite sure if there's any others, but yeah, definitely leave me some recommendations so I can check them out. Or it doesn't even need to be shark books. They can be like underwater creature thrillers, because I'd enjoy those as well. So that wraps up the 2 standalone novels that I've read this year so far. So that's about all I have to share with you today. I hope you are all doing great. I hope you are all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.